These are two of the best sub 250 cinewhoops that you can buy right now. The GEPRC DarkStar22 and the BETAFPV Pavo20 Pro II. They offer identical performance, similar flight times, and they both use the DJI O4 Pro, which makes choosing them surprisingly difficult. Now, after owning and flying and repairing both, if I was starting again to spend my own money, I would buy the DarkStar22. But it's not the obvious winner. The Pavo20 Pro II is cheaper, easier to repair, and arguably the better choice for beginners. So let me explain why I would choose the DarkStar and which one is actually right for you. I flew both of these drones back to back the other day to see if I could separate them. But before we talk about the flight performance, let's look into more detail of the similarities, starting with the video system, as they both support the DJI O4 Pro Air unit. However, with the Pavo20 Pro II, it also supports the O4 Lite, as you get the additional canopy in the box. The DarkStar is only built around the Pro unit. Now, both are 2.2-inch drones. However, the wheelbase, there is a slight difference between them. The Pavo20 Pro II is almost 94mm, whereas the DarkStar is at 100mm. Especially if you look at them head on, you can see that the DarkStar is slightly wider. Now, they both have a canopy dampening system, 5-point dampening on the DarkStar and 4 on the Pavo20. They both have a carbon fiber frame with plastic ducts, but the DarkStar does seem to be more rigid. The motors are also both the same at 1104. However, the DarkStar does have slightly more powerful motors at 7500 kV compared to the 7200 on the Pavo20. They both are available in PNP or ELRS. They both use 3S batteries, and they also both have similar flight times, around 6.5 to 7.5 minutes, depending how you fly. Again, they are both under 250 grams easily. Even with the added GPS, which I installed myself on the DarkStar, it still comes under 250 grams. They also are at a similar price as well, at $400 for the DarkStar versus $365 for the Pavo20 Pro II. The last thing that's similar between them is that they both use a stupid USB adapter, and I absolutely hate this thing. Let's take a look in more detail of the design and features of both these drones, and in no particular order, we'll just start with the DarkStar22. Personally, when I look at this drone, I absolutely love it. I really do enjoy the orange canopy. It just breaks up the color of the drone rather than just boring black, which we see on other drones on the market. The ducts are really rigid on this drone, and they have the integrated LEDs, which are pre-installed when you buy them. Now, these are only a single color and not configurable. You can just turn them on and off. The 5-point dampening system is great for smooth footage, but I'll cover more on the dampening system when we get to building and maintenance. Now, the DarkStar is set up as a puller configuration, and this is different compared to other cinewhoops on the market, which are normally a pusher, such as the Pavo20. I really do enjoy the integrated XT30 in the frame, as it helps keep the cables tidy at the back. And if you opt for the ELRS option of the DarkStar, you do get an antenna mount at the back of the canopy. You also get the option for a GPS. This isn't available online. However, if you pick up a nano GPS, this is pretty simple to install with just some soldering on the all-in-one board. Taking a look at the Pavo20 Pro II, it has a simpler design and is more beginner friendly. The great thing is the canopy is actually hot swappable with its little brother, the Pico 2. It does come with the Nightfire RGB LEDs, which has way more customization with either the board at the back, or you can actually do this in Betaflight as well. If you want to know all the different LED options, I've left a link in the description box down below. Now, as mentioned earlier, most cinewhoops come in a pusher configuration, which means the motors are mounted upside down, and this just allows for more stable flight, especially when it comes to lower altitudes or maybe even flying indoors. This is also the lighter of the drone compared to the DarkStar. This doesn't have an integrated XT30 connector, it just has a regular cable coming out the back. And I'm also not a fan of the wiring. It does look a little bit messy, so you can see this isn't as refined as the GEPRC DarkStar22. However, this is a minor thing. Now, something I forgot to mention earlier that is similar between these two drones is that they also use an underslung battery mount. Now, I want you to think of these two drones as two cars, as this is the best analogy that I could have for them. Think of the Pavo20 Pro II as a Golf R. It's reliable and easy to work on, and it's also more affordable. The DarkStar22 is like a Porsche Boxster. It's agile, it's quick, but it can be a pain to work on. So before we get to flight performance, let's go over some of the build and maintenance of both these drones. The Pavo20 Pro II is much easier to work on, and it has a much cleaner internal layout, making it beginner friendly. BETAFPV are using an F4 2 to 3S 20 amp AIO. The great thing about this board is that it uses plug and play motors. So if you happen to crash or your motor fails and you need to replace it, it's very easy to do. Unscrew the motor, unplug it, put in a new one, Bob's your uncle. The other thing I'm not a fan of, as I mentioned earlier, is that the wires at the back. You need to make sure you tidy this up to prevent them being chewed up by the prop at the rear. Props are just push on. There isn't anything securing them. I haven't had an issue again, but if you've experienced your props flying off, just let me know in the comments. Now, as for the DarkStar, this is using a Taker F405 AIO. Now, it's actually suited for more power and it can use 2 to 4-ish batteries. If you are going to be using a 4S battery with the DarkStar, and I have tested this myself, you might want to scale back the throttle so you not burn out any of the components. But I have tested it on 4S and it's way overpowered. I would personally stick to 3S. There's also a dedicated antenna mount to plug in an ELRS, which I much prefer compared to the skinny antenna cable on the Pavo20. Now, I expected maintenance to annoy me less on this drone, but I was wrong. This is a lot harder to strip down and get to make any maintenance repairs. The rubber grommets are also great for smooth footage. However, they are such a pain to pre-install after a maintenance job when you're trying to put the drone back together. My only wish is that for both of these drones not to have a USB adapter to plug into Betaflight. Please just use a USB-C cable. This won't increase the weight that much, and both would still happily sit under 250 grams. I would also like to see both BETAFPV and GEPRC to start using C labels on the FPV drones. I have seen BETAFPV do it, but not GEPRC yet. Just to help with regulations a little bit, to say like, hey, this one's clear to fly in A1 or A3 category here in Europe. Now let's get on to flight performance, because I have flown these back to back. First up, let's do a sound check between these two. But you let me know in the comments down below which one has a higher or lower pitch. And if they're the same, also let me know in the comments. I flew these back to back, swapping them one after the other. I even created a mini track to test the performance of both these drones and to see if I could find any similarities and differences. We'll start off with the Pavo20 Pro II. Flies great. It exceeded my expectations when I first reviewed the drone. I didn't expect it to be that good. It flies a lot better lower to the ground, and that's due to its pusher configuration. However, I did notice it wasn't as stable as the DarkStar. There's a little bit more wobble. If you start doing some performance maneuvers in the Pavo20 Pro II, there is prop rush, and you do notice it suffer more frequently than you do with the DarkStar. Still can handle it, but it's definitely noticeable. Whereas with the DarkStar, flies absolutely great. It is smooth, it is stable. The prop rush, there is still some, but just not as much compared to the Pavo20 Pro II. Handles performance a lot better, likely due to it being a puller configuration. I mean, this thing flies great. They're both the same, but the DarkStar edges it, and that's why I love this drone more flying it, because it is a lot better flying experience, which is why I say it's like a Porsche Boxster. It's more agile, it has the performance. Golf R probably has the performance, or the Pavo 20 has the performance. However, it might understeer a bit more, if you get my drift. That's unintended pun as well. Now, flight times again are similar. You performance for both. 6.5 to 7.5 minutes, depending how you fly. These both have great flight times in my opinion on 3S batteries. 3S is the perfect LiPo for both of these drones. I do think BETAFPV's Lava 2 batteries are better. Even after installing GPS on the DarkStar22, it hasn't degraded its flight performance. It still flies great. I actually think this is a great drone to take with you on your travels, because you have that peace of mind with the GPS. As it's sub 250, you can fly in A1, A3 categories. And well, if you go exploring a little bit further with this drone, you have GPS rescue. If you have an itch in your nose, or you're getting bugged by a fly, you're getting bitten by a fly, you have position hold, so you can hit that button, the drone will hover in place, and then you can fly it back. I think having the option to be able to add a GPS to this is great. It's a shame the Pavo 20 doesn't really have an option. You'd somehow print a TPU mount to add it. I don't know how it would affect the performance on that. I don't have a 3D printer. Bamboo Labs, if you're listening or watching and you'd like to send me one to review, happy to do so. That being said, I did say the Pavo 22 was better lower to the ground, which is why I think it will do better flying indoors, because it has more stability in my opinion. However, both drones will be capable regardless of the ones you pick. Like I said, it's really tough to pick between them because they fly so well equally. But the Darkster does has the edge overall, especially outdoors. When it comes to crashing, if you're asking me about that question, I haven't crashed these drones. I've had small mishaps, but both drones are still intact. If you do crash and it was a violent crash and you break something, obviously the Pavo20 Pro II is going to be a lot easier to repair. Darkstar is still repairable, but it's an absolute bitch. So before I tell you that, if you're enjoying this video so far, I'd really appreciate if you hit that like button, because it tells me that you enjoy content like this, and it also tells YouTube to push the video out to more people. So that way, if someone's trying to decide which of these drones to buy, this video would really help them out. And if you enjoy drone comparisons, drones and FPV content, then hit the subscribe button. I'd love to see you come along. And also, I'd love to see you in the comments down below. Let me know which of these drones you bought, or if you're looking to buy one, which one are you leaning towards to buy and why? Now, before I get eaten alive by mosquitoes, let's get on with the video. Now, let's start with the DarkStar22 here. So my motor randomly blew on my Darkstar, and I have no idea why. The drone was fine out the box, and when Cyprus was hit with a drone ban, a temporary drone ban, the drone sat on the shelf for ages. The only thing I did was install the GPS and ELRS, or the antenna on the drone, and it worked and there was no problem. I just couldn't fly at the time. A month later, I went to fly, I plugged in the battery, the motor sparked and it just went, and I was like, oh, typical, great. So after ordering motors, we were trying to replace the motor. It wasn't the motor. The motor still looked really bad condition, so I wanted to replace it, but it wouldn't work. So I had to order a new all-in-one board. Thankfully, that solved it and everything works. Flies great. Hence, you've seen the footage from this video. However, when it comes to the repairability of this drone, it's really annoying, because you have the canopy. You'd think taking off the canopy would give you access, but no, you have to take the canopy off to unplug the O4 air unit and GPS unit. Then you have to unscrew everything at the bottom just to release everything and to get access to solder. The most annoying part of this is actually the grommets. The grommets are great, but trying to pre-install them is a challenge, especially the ones at the front. And I've tried tweezers and I've destroyed them because they just split them. I've tried using the tool provided by GEPRC, also annoying. I've also tried dental floss. It takes you at least 10 to 20 minutes to try and install them because it's that difficult. So I would like an improvement on this personally. They're great for smooth footage, but when it comes to putting this drone back together, it's a right nuisance. Now let's talk about the Pavo20 Pro II. It took me forever to review this because when I received it, the AIO needed replacement as soon as, because one of the resistors was missing or had melted off. Just, I don't know, I was setting it up and when I came to plug in the battery, nothing happened, which was completely random. Had to get the new IO, plug in everything, solder back the resistors and the cables, but it was a lot easier to put back together, much quicker to get back up and running. Now, both of these weren't faults of my own. The great thing is both companies have good support in my experience, and I'm speaking as someone, as a customer having bought their drones and as a creator working with these brands and them sending to me. The good thing is BETAFPV did send me replacements for this drone because this was a review unit when they sent it to me, so they replaced it. As for the GEPRC, the drone was fine initially. It was just random how I've never experienced that issue before, where it was sitting on the shelf and maybe the motor shorted, but it wasn't GEPRC's fault. So I did buy the components with my own money, but the support has been great. So we've been through the similarities, how these are built, designed, repairability, and even how they fly. And you already know my thoughts that I love the DarkStar and I think it's the drone that I would still buy. But let's look at this objectively, price-wise and value-wise, because they both have a similar price. Now the Pavo20 Pro II is cheaper at $365 US, which is a saving of $35 compared to the DarkStar, which means that $35 you can actually pick up 2 lipos, which is actually really good value. The other great thing is this is a fan favorite of the FPV community. I have seen your comments, especially when I've done the review. Everyone absolutely loves this drone, and I get it. I really do get it, because I didn't get the hype until I was sent it and I flew it. For the money that you pay, this is an absolutely fantastic drone and you will not be disappointed. Now, as for the DarkStar22, this is $400 US. If you ask me, that is not a significant price hike for this drone. And that extra that you're paying for is in the build quality and design of this drone, and the fact that it does fly better. Like, having flown them back to back, this does fly better. And I like the option that you can add a GPS as well, so it has been thought out of. It's a fantastic drone. You would not be disappointed if you bought this drone because it flies great. Its ease of repairability, it's what lets it down. But both of these drones, I think, are worth the money. Now, which one should you buy? Well, if it's your very first cinewhoop and you want something easy to repair, you're mostly flying indoors, then the Pavo20 Pro II is going to be better value for you as well, because you can pick up 2 LiPo batteries for saving the 35 with it. Buy the DarkStar if you want a better flight experience overall. It's better for outdoor flying, and if you want to be able to add a GPS, that's why you go for the DarkStar22. On paper, the BETAFPV Pavo20 Pro II is the obvious winner. It's cheaper, easy to maintain, and it's a huge fan favorite in the FPV community. However, after owning and flying both, the one I'd prefer and the one I'd spend my money on again is the GEPRC DarkStar22, because it flies great. And if you're new to FPV, before you buy your first drone, check out this video here. And if you're a regular viewer, thank you. YouTube recommend you should watch this one next.